What's up, guys? My name is Rhino. Welcome back to another episode of our NFL post-draft analysis. This episode, we are doing the AFC South. So, today we're going to talk about, is the AFC South the Colts division to lose? Let's start with the Texans. Now, in the draft, the Texans added Jadeveon Clowney out of South Carolina, Xavier Su'a-Filo for an offensive guard, Lewis Nix III as a defensive tackle, and Tom Savage for quarterback. So, Clowney, everyone knew he was going to be the first pick. Everyone knew the Texans were taking Clowney because a Clowney and J.J. Watt 1-2 punch on your defensive line is amazing. That's the one thing that can mess with the Colts in the division is going to be you got to watch out. J.J. Watt, you could double team him or whatever and try and take him down. Now you got to watch out for Watt and Clowney, and that's going to be a lot harder to do coming from each end or coming from the same end. Is going to be a lot harder to do. Xavier Su'a-Filo is a good addition to the offensive line. They don't have their quarterback is no longer Matt Schaub. It is now Ryan Fitzpatrick. So Matt Schaub is in Oakland. So he was pretty terrible last year. He was getting hit a lot and all this and under pressure all the time. So this addition to the offensive line should definitely help out Ryan Fitzpatrick, give him some more time in the pocket, be able to get passes off more cleanly and things like that. Now, Lewis Nix III, big guy, good for run stuffing. So you got Fitzpatrick, you got Watt and Clowney coming off the edge, rush the passer, and if they're running the ball, you got big Lewis Nix in the middle to stop that. And Tom Savage is going to be the backup quarterback for Ryan Fitzpatrick, but in Bill O'Brien's system, Savage, I believe, can become a really, really steady, good quarterback in his system, and eventually, for at least this year, he's going to be the backup. But if he can learn from Fitzpatrick and Bill O'Brien and stuff in his system this year, he could potentially be the starter or either next year or the year after that, but he could definitely do really well. So now the Jaguars. In the draft, Jaguars, first round, they took quarterback Blake Bortles, which surprised people because Manziel was available, but as we know, he didn't go till 26th, so. But Gus Bradley and the GM definitely got their guy. They wanted Blake Bortles, and they got him. Then they drafted Marquise Lee, Allen Robinson, two wide receivers that are very explosive, could definitely easily be number one receivers, and Storm Johnson, a running back. Wide receivers Marquise Lee and Allen Robinson are good explosive weapons for Bortles. Bortles, I don't know if he's going to start right off the bat. They still have Chad Henne, but if he does, he's got good weapons there to go along with what's already there, even though what's there is not much. So they'll definitely help out with that. Bortles needs work, but he definitely sounds like he's going to be their franchise guy, so he could definitely, I don't know how much he can learn from backing up Chad Henne or watching, but if he has to start right away, he's going to learn very quickly what he has to do, and with his new offensive weapons, he should be able to, move into that franchise guy position very easily. Storm Johnson went to the same school that Blake Bortles did. They are old college teammates, and Storm Johnson's, Jaguars had nobody on their running back roster, pretty much. After Maurice Jones-Drew left and went to Oakland, they had guys we've never heard of before as their 1 and 2 for running back. So drafting Storm Johnson is good. Gives Blake Bortles a familiar face in the backfield there with him. They can work together. He's a pretty good running back, and he'll be able to fill in that hole left by Maurice Jones-Drew. Now with the Titans. Titans drafted first round Taylor Lewan, 11th overall. That was a surprising pick. We'll get into that in a second. They took Bishop Sankey, a running back, Daquan Jones for defensive line, and Zach Mettenberger as a quarterback. So with Taylor Lewan, that surprised a lot of people, mainly because they didn't really need offensive line help. Their offensive line was pretty good last year, and then even in the offseason this year, they got Michael Orr from the Ravens in free agency. So they had their offensive line pretty stout. Taylor Lewan's a great offensive lineman. He's hard-nosed and he gets down and dirty when he plays up there, but for them to take that when they could have taken a higher running back or a wide receiver or something like that. They could have taken another quarterback to help out Altron Werner in the backfield too, but because I think it's surprising, but they did what they did, so they're gonna have to deal with their choices. But everyone knows that Chris Johnson left to go to the Jets. So they needed a replacement for him because the only other running back they had was Sean Green, who went to the Titans from the Jets. So Bishop Sankey's a good replacement there. He's definitely got speed. He'll be able to fill that hole and do a 1-2 punch with Sean Green in the backfield. Daquan Jones adds depth to the defensive line. Their defensive line is okay. They could have used a pass rusher as well, in my opinion, but, Daquan Jones can definitely help with the run. And then Zach Mettenberger is going to be a good backup because, let's face it, Jake Locker gets hurt a lot. He got hurt for a lot of last season and a lot of season before that. So drafting a quarterback for the backup is good. I hope he can learn quickly because if Locker gets hurt again, Mettenberger's going in and he's going to have to know what he's doing. And now we get to the Colts. So the Colts won the division last year and because they had basically no competition. I believe they're going to have a little more competition this year, but they should still, it's their division to lose. If they have all the pieces, they have pieces that they need. Everyone else in the division is pretty much still rebuilding. If they lose this division to the Texans or the Titans, something is very, very wrong. All right, so first, they didn't have a first-round pick. Let's remember this. They did not have a first-round pick because last year they traded the Cleveland Browns their first-round pick in order to get Trent Richardson, who did virtually nothing for them last year anyway. So in the second round, they took Jack Mewhort, an offensive lineman. They took Dante Moncrief as a wide receiver. Those were pretty much their two big picks. So in order to justify them trading for Richardson and losing their first-round pick this season, Richardson needs to step it up big time. He needs to prove that he was worth the first-round pick and that he can help the Colts with their running game. Mewhort helps on the offensive line. They definitely needed that after the Texans took Jadeveon Clowney. Now you got Clowney and Watt, so they need offensive line all over the place to help protect Luck from these guys. Because when Luck goes down, they got nothing. And then Moncrief adds wide receiver depth, which is good because they got Reggie Wayne, but he got hurt last year. So if they have Moncrief to come in and replace him, he'll still be playing, but Moncrief's a good backup there. Help out T.Y. Hilton for going down the field and Levon Brazil. He's fast, and they needed another guy that can, just to move around and switch in and out with all these other guys. So now my AFC South predictions for this season, I have the Colts going 10-6 and winning the division. I have the Texans at 7-9 and the Titans at 7-9, and the Jaguars they do better than last season but not great. I have them 5-11. So every other team is rebuilding. The Colts should win the division no problem unless something ridiculous happens like Luck gets hurt or Wayne goes down again. Something ridiculous happens. The Colts should win the division no problem. The Texans do come back a little bit. They went 2-14 last season, lost 14 straight after they won 2-0. Not good for them. They come back, they go 7-9, not great. Almost make it to 500, but not just quite. They still got to get a couple of pieces fine-tuned to solidify their team there. The Titans do okay, 7-9 as well, but with I said Locker gets hurt again. Titans need more weapons on the offensive side of the ball. Locker gets hurt again. Mettenberger has to go in, but he can't perform that well off the bat. It takes a while for him to get into the groove of things, but by the time that happens, season's virtually over, and it doesn't really matter anymore. The Jaguars do better, like I said, 5-11. Not great. They still have too many new pieces that they have to put in place. Pieces they got to move around, stuff. People have to get accustomed to new positions, to the NFL. A lot of rookies filling in holes, and they're not going to do great. They'll be better next year, but for this year, it's still a lot of rebuilding. They're going to need more pieces they're going to have to get somehow and figure it all out and put it all together. But for right now, 5-11. So that was my AFC South post-draft analysis. Let me know in the comments what you think. Do you agree? Do you disagree? What do you think? What are your predictions for the AFC South? Who's winning the division? Are the Jaguars going to do better or worse than I said? Leave a like if you enjoyed. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to the channel. We're doing these daily. Stay tuned for the next one tomorrow. We're going to do the AFC West. And I'll see you all then.